You're in the rant wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about, even if they get in on the very last day and I didn't set any particular deadline. So here's two more rants for you that I didn't account for in my first batch. We got Flinnet, rant about interpersonal problems stemming from communication. I mean, this is where all interpersonal problems come from, I think. I think that if we could all just psychically understand everything that was in one another's brains, I mean, first of all, there'd be no need to communicate because we'd just understand everything. Communication is entirely about bridging the gaps in the understandings that we have. So, you know, interpersonal problems are all the result of bad communication. But it's really fascinating because, like, as humans, most of us have the same basic needs. So, like, if it weren't for communication or for us, like, growing up in different environments, like, I think that it would be much easier for people who are who see themselves as very different to get along if it weren't for the fact that, you know, we've all developed different languages and different modes of expression and different ideals on the basis of how we communicated how to achieve, you know, those basic needs. So it's like, you know, like if it weren't for the fact that, like, maybe you and I feel the exact same way about everything, but we've given it all different words, or like how we achieve the ideals that we both have. We've been taught that, like, to achieve them requires something different from the other person. You know, like, these are basically all the reasons that communication breaks down. You know, it's that we just don't have the right words to make the other person see what we see or perceive what we perceive. You know, and this isn't to say that, like, all failing of any relationships are purely on the communication level. A lot of it's also on the actions level. You know, like, if you do something bad, you know, that it can cause interpersonal problems. But, like, most of the time you do bad things because you don't know how to, don't know how to communicate and live your life the right way. I feel as though a lot of people's problems come from their inability to communicate because of the fact that they will just hole up and, like, I don't know, assume that the world is a certain way. Like, I'm thinking about people I know who just let themselves kind of get walked on, or who don't really, like, take what they want out of their own lives, or who like, struggle with, you know, just, like, being depressed and sad and just kind of thinking that the world, like, is the way that it is because they don't know how to put words out there that will change the way that their situation is, you know? Like, they don't know what words they can say to get out of a situation, or to change someone's opinion, or to, you know, just to make clear what they are, you know, what they are looking for and what they aim to get out of something. You know, I think that, like, just our inability to just be completely honest with our own intentions and desires and needs is a big part of what, you know, causes conflict and causes people to not understand each other. So, like, I generally encourage being as direct as possible with people. Like, you know, while I appreciate irony and you know, comedy, and just, you know, not always saying exactly what you're thinking. Like, if you have trouble with communication, state the problem. You know, like, if it's somebody you feel like you can't talk to, tell them that you feel like you can't talk to them, and, like, tell them what, like, why, like, what is the problem between you two. And if the other person isn't receptive to your attempts at communication, it could either because they don't understand you, you know, they're just as ignorant as you are, or it could be that they are more ignorant than you are and just, like, are not receptive to conversation, in which case you can either keep trying to crack that person, because, like, a lot of the people I've known who talk about, like, growing up with autism or growing up with a difficulty communicating talk about how they just studied the way individual people would communicate. There's a great thing, I think Devu told me about this, about this other analyst who described that he would like crack jokes to teachers in school and sort of like measure their reaction and then like figure out how he should approach like that class. Like, oh, if this teacher doesn't laugh at my jokes, or like depending on how they react, I know whether or not I can tell jokes in front of this person, you know, and like just like running tests on everything and just like, you know, never give up on trying to find the right combination of words. Like, I've had plenty of times where I've been trying to make the same point for years, and every time I say it again, I structure it differently. I try to find different, better words, unless the ones I had before were so iconic that they, you know, there's no second guessing them. You know, like, um, as you should just keep going, keep redefining what you're trying to say until you crack through to somebody else, you know, on to whoever you're practicing this on, I guess. Um, I don't know why I'm framing this like an advice column. I just assume that you have interpersonal problems stemming from communication, but yeah, I would say that describes most interpersonal problems. That's it for this rant.